It's another edition of Checking In with Hein and Johnny, where the hosts bring in mystery topics that neither host knows anything about until the mics go hot and on the air. We are the show that keeps the host from talking about the weather and World War II 24 hours a day. Hey, Heine, man, what's on your mind?
What's happening, Johnny?
You can see you're seeing double trouble today.
Oh,
Ouch.
who do we have today?
Well, my older brother Dave, the third fan of the show, is joining us today. That would be the Dandy Dave. And I gave him that name because he would love it, that he's been referred to as Dandy. As we all would. So, hello, Unky Dave.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, John. Well, thank you. I tell you, I was just spellbound when I was offered the opportunity to appear with the circle that solves all of the world's problems.
Is that us?
It's kind of now it's a council.
Think tank.
We can vote on stuff.
All right. Well, we have a quorum.
I love that. So it is June, and I hear commencement speeches all over the world. What is your message when you're the commencement speaker at the University of Utah, Heine man? What's your message to the graduates that day?
Well, guys, it's really the same message that I give on the first day of school, which is get your kicks before the whole house goes up in flames.
Get your kicks.
Just keeping it, I think it's a Jim Morrison. His was tweaked a little differently. It's a Jim Morrison advice.
The Lizard
King.
The Lizard King.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they stole the cemetery block, and someone finally returned it after many decades.
Oh, from Jim Morrison's grave?
Yeah.
You know, one of the University of Utah pranks or things that I remember that was stolen was the large cow that was on top of the Myers meat market in Holiday, and then
Nice.
it mysteriously landed in the president's circle at the University of Utah. I don't know who did it, but it was epic. So kudos to those rowdy fraternity boys who obviously were living the college dream.
They were naughty. Dave, what naughty pranks did you do with your ne'er-do-well friends in high school or college?
Oh, well, that S that sat on the mountain above our home there in
Yes.
East Mill Creek was always so tempting. And it was real easy to change it to an O when we played Olympus because it didn't take much movement at all. It was done with sheets and it didn't have lighting at the time. So one of our favorites was to change it to an O so that they thought that it was people from Olympus, and they went down and beat up all the kids in Olympus. And
It worked very well.
it worked all the time.
I watched someone do it. I mean, I remember, in the yard and watched somebody change it in front of me. So that was epic.
we had done that a couple of times. So much to our boasting accomplishments that changed the S to the O.
The intellect.
Yes.
Once you get over onto the west side of Salt Lake, which is west of 24th East, the people really get ugly. It's unfortunate, and somehow the water down there, the air, the atmosphere affects their brains too.
Well, it's close to the Great Salt Lake, so you get a lot of that salt water in there doing
Brine.
enzymes.
Arsenic,
Brine, the
Brine in
brine
the water.
flies.
arsenic from the
There's,
drying crust.
yeah, and the smoke from Kennecott that defoliates all the trees on the
It's
mountainside.
unfortunate for them.
Yeah. I remember in football, though, some of those big boys that came from the islands that played on the west side because their
Tonga.
communities down there were tough. It was just like,
Big
man,
boys.
when they hit you, it was just like running into a wall. And I remember them many times them standing over me, laughing, offering me a hand, and picking me up and say, "Let's do that again." That was enjoyable. I really enjoyed
Did you
Let's go play again, baby.
that.
That's
did
awesome.
you ever, as a youngster, just for fun, level Johnny like a football player in the front yard? Just go out and
Well,
hit him down.
yeah, one of my favorites was the old swirlies in the toilet. Unfortunately, and we had a middle brother, bless his heart. That John was cool, so I accepted him. But we had
Poor
a middle
Unky John.
brother, the typical middle child. That yeah, not so much John, but I enjoyed the wedgies and the swirlies in the toilet with him. I'm surprised
Yeah.
he survived it all without any scars permanently damaging him.
Well, their scars are there. They
Oh, and
just
he is permanently damaged.
doesn't
So
show. We painted Suicide Rock, and I thought I was going to die painting it. Clark and I got up there with yellow paint to paint it with the word easy on it. And
Word
it's
what?
windy.
such a treat, that Suicide Rock.
Yeah. I didn't realize, I mean, from the freeway at 80 miles an hour, you don't realize that when you've got wet paint and it's midnight, that you could die doing a stupid prank. And I definitely thought I was going to die doing a stupid prank. But we
What
did get it painted.
what was more fun is the ride under the highway in the big tubes that carried the wastewater down, and slipping in there and slipping all the way through the endless tunnel of water, popping out over in the other gully.
The delight of wastewater on my feet and face.
I think that wastewater is called Parley's Creek.
Oh, well, it smelled like wastewater.
Well, it winds out in the lake, so it ends up being wastewater.
Harley's Creek is now Wastewater Creek.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. So, Henry, what we've got in your commencement speech, Dave, what's your advice to these young, budding, thirsty minds for your commencement speech?
Well, first of all, I'd probably congratulate them for not picking the other university that's further south, because, I mean, that just really distorts one's outlook on life. But my advice would be forget everything that you learned, if you learned anything at all, because it's not going to help you tinker's dinker when you get out in the real world.
You will not need the phrase isosceles triangle ever again. It will never come up.
It will not. It will not.
Some of those, those youngsters, I just grab them by the shirt collars and I bring them up close to my face and I say, plastics. Johnny,
hangers?
Anybody asking you for advice? You're at the age of where you have a certain amount of, well, let's call it wisdom that you want to impart to the youth of America.
I never have any. No one ever asks me advice. I mean, no one. I am given advice 20 times a day, but no one ever asks me one single thing.
I'm handing it out, in the line at the checkout stand at grocery store when the kids are like, well, I really want to get a sociology degree. And I take like my eggplant out of the plastic bag and whap them upside the head.
Smash them. Yeah, there was an article this week about the lowest paid degrees, because degrees are insanely expensive now. So they tried to tell everybody what the lowest paying degrees, and there's a ton of them. Like anything with languages, anything at all that doesn't just make you a teacher, they just said, don't do it. You will lose money. So every language arts, anything that the only place to go is to be a teacher, they just said, stop it.
I remember,
Stop it.
my college degree course was, I took this intellectual traditions of the West class. And the professor, I would see the professor, I'd be rolling around in my sweet, completely rusted out TR4. And he would haul me in to his office because I was getting probably an F.
Yeah.
And he would say, Mr. Morrison, I realize, I know that I see you driving around and I know in a car there's an engine and there are pistons going around and they go up and down. And that's about all you know about the Thomas Aquinas text. And looking back from this day, I say, I was really better served by focusing on what was going on inside that lump of block under the hood of my TR4 than anything about the Thomas Aquinas text.
Dave, have you ever brought up Aquinas in any of your years that you've been working?
No, absolutely not. Quinine, maybe. But, sometimes use a little quinine water for a bitter effect. But,
Do you live in an area frequented by mosquitoes?
in the Annapolis, Maryland area, we are a constant barrage of mosquitoes and bugs because of the flora, the fauna, and the rain. So, yes.
I can see where quinine would come into play there.
Doesn't it help malaria?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the sleeping, yeah, all kinds of stuff, man.
It's a miracle cure.
It is, it is.
So
And it's really good with a little bit of lime.
it's delicious.
How the British conquered the Far East.
It's delicious. So, Heine Man, Dave has the most important question. All he's been thinking about for 2 weeks is this huge decision that's been on his mind. I will turn the time over to Dandy Dave.
I really appreciate being able to talk to the guru on this subject. My little Chevy Equinox, which I love dearly, has got 80,000 miles on it. It's starting to age. It's 5 years old. It's been good to me. But I grew up with muscle cars and in an era when automobiles were made with metal and they were easy to work on. You could set points on your distributor when things weren't running right. You could do just about any. Switching a clutch plate out was a piece of cake. So I've been thinking with the cost of new vehicles nowadays, would it be better off for me to find a pickup truck from the 50s or a convertible from the 60s, which I just dearly loved almost any make or model in that era, and just get one semi-restored so it was still affordable and so I could still drive it. These people that buy these beautiful machines and then tuck them away under a parachute in an airline hangar or in a garage that's heated and carpeted, nobody ever gets to enjoy them. I want to be able to drive this every day as my vehicle. Is it practical? Can it be done? And where do you find these rebuilt engine, semi-restored cars? And would it be about the same price as a new vehicle? I understand you have a few of the older vintage cars.
Well, yes, that's true. That's a lot to process, Dave. But the answer, as you've imagined, is yes. Yes. You should get the best place to go looking for old trucks are in the backyards of people living in the like El Paso, Texas. I'd say from Midland, Texas to the California line between, so through southern New Mexico, Arizona to the California border. And nothing is going to serve you better than like a 1954 International Harvester R110. It's got about 100 horsepower. It weighs about 6,000 pounds. You'll never get a speeding ticket in it.
If that's the goal.
And dress that up with some white wall tires.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right.
So it's a better investment.
You're gonna a convertible from the '60s. They're harder to find in people's back.
Are they? Okay. Yeah.
But pickups are all over Texas, huh?
Well, they're not rusty ones. You're gonna take it. You're gonna be in Annapolis, Maryland.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's far enough north that you're not really going to care about air conditioning or anything like that.
Oh, you have no. One of the requirements is it has to be installed later on with air.
Oh.
What's a nice feature are those frequently you'll find them under the seat of your old truck when you buy it is the air conditioner that mounts on your window, and you fill it with water, and as you go down the road,
yes, the old hang on the bag, yes,
and keeps you happy like that.
Yeah, or the little turbines that you clip on the window, like the speakers at the drive-in, and as you go along, it moves up. Yeah. But the evaporative bags, those were classic. My goodness.
Most of the bags that we talk about at this age don't have anything to do with air conditioning in the car. It's mostly catheter related, which is not as fun a conversation. It's not. Right. So you have you've dispelled us with the right answer. It's yes. Always buy a vintage vehicle 100% of the time.
Okay.
Give yourself a little extra time to get where you're going.
Like 2 days, because it will break down halfway to the
No, it won't. They didn't break down then. If they're rebuilt engines, they're not going to break down now.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Vintage cars.
And you don't need a computer to figure out what's wrong, that your tire pressure indicator is going out. And
people do get sick of the apps for everything. That is true. So you're Henry, are you Mr. Technology outside of cars? Do you love everything techie? You want everything computerized in your life?
Well, yeah, I want all of my accounting processes computerized somehow. Well, I think I do. No, I don't. I am not as techie as I should be. I'm not in tune to, what do they call it now? AI, where
it'll eat your brain. It'll eat your brain.
It'll replace you.
It'll replace me. Yeah, maybe it might do a better job. So there's that.
What is your sweet shirt that is in British Racing Green?
British Racing Green, Albuquerque. Let's see. This is the British Automobile Owners Association official logoed polo.
Nice.
Chris has relegated to, it used to be standard issue under my tuxedo jacket, but now it is relegated to yard work.
It's yard work and the podcast. So, have you needed to use your tuxedo this month, Henry?
Yes, I was using my tuxedo on Tuesday.
Ooh, pray tell us.
We had a wedding, and it is my cousin's daughter was getting married, and it was kind of a Western theme, and it had a dress code, and on the very fancy invitation, it said black tie, and then it had some like little bit of, or a Western themed, you can add a little Western twist to your black tie. which is, maybe a bolo tie and a hat. I went with and then in big letters underneath bold price it said no jeans.
Nice.
And so I took that to figure somewhere between a full tuxedo and jeans is where you needed to land.
Anywhere.
Right. So.
And how did you go? Did Chris allow you to do what you wanted?
I have a tuxedo. She doesn't like the fit. She says, nobody wears the light blue and the velvet collars anymore.
Oh, man, with the big lapels? Oh, they should. Oh, Dumb and Dumber, man.
So I went with my kind of almost purple suit. But the thing is apparently, there's always drama at weddings. And so there are about 6 guests showed up as a protest in jeans.
Those hillbillies.
And they were booted. Oh. They got the boot.
Oh,
they were
man.
not allowed in, which is all of a sudden it's like, okay, redo the table seatings. So it's
wow.
So the debate is, Johnny, would you let the jeans people in or would you boot them?
You know me too well. I would prefer us all sitting around in Bermuda shorts. So bring in the jeans, dudes. Heck yeah. Yeah.
So where did corduroys fit? Could you get away with corduroys with cowboy boots?
I wasn't going to push any of those limits. I think really if you would have worn black jeans, you would have gotten in. But since you were, wearing the ones that you just rolled out from underneath your Harvester 110 in, you got the boot.
No, I got the boot. Dave, was there any drama at your wedding? Any
drama? Oh my!
Did you kick anybody out?
No, absolutely not. All were welcome. I was in an era there of the late 60s, early 70s where, man, it was like show up and enjoy life. But we still have a little drama from my wedding because I wore a checked brown and white checked sports coat instead of
as one does.
And I have heard about that for 50 some years now.
As you shoot. I'm finding out that we definitely have some idiotic tendencies in this threesome of 3 blind mice.
It didn't help that I had a General Custer's big bushy mustache and a little soul patch goatee and long hair too. So if we need an airbrush artist to fix our wedding picture. To
AI, it'll take care of everything.
It's a little hard to stir up that cocktail.
Henry, did you kick anybody out of your wedding?
No, we were. No, we did not. We did not. We also did not have a media team. We had one person there taking photos.
I do not remember. What's your favorite drama that you've ever seen at weddings? I guess I don't go to enough weddings to have experienced this. Has anybody ever been shot at a wedding that you've attended?
I went to one where some dudes got maced. They came in and the cops came in and pepper sprayed them. That was kind of a typical New Mexico. That a lot of that would. There was a lot of drama at weddings in New Mexico. And so I always, I wore a beefier jacket that I could slide some body armor under.
Kevlar is never out of style.
Henry, have you put on a little weight? Yeah, I've been pumping a little bit at the gym and over at Crown Burger.
Oh, Crown Burgers. Oh, delicious. Pastrami on a hamburger is so healthy. Such a healthy thing. Speaking of food, an article says that there is something called volume control over food. If you want to live a long time, you've got to control the volume control of food. And I learned from that article that volume control is once you bring something into your house, it speaks to you from the location. So it calls out with a siren mermaid song until you eat it. So Henry, what is the one food that you cannot have in the house because you will hear it calling to you every second until you eat it? Green chilies?
No, it's peanuts.
Oh,
Loving you is just like eating peanuts.
nice. That should be a song.
Or a motto at somebody's wedding on the invitation. Loving you is just like eating peanuts.
We are in prom season and graduation. That should be a prom theme.
Dandy Dave, what is calling your name from the fridge besides your cell phone?
Oh, God.
A callback.
Everything in my refrigerator is just precious to me. And my wife has a habit of going through the refrigerator and picking and choosing and grabbing outdated sauces and things that I cherish and going through my marinated vegetables and my green olives and my everything that I have in there is precious and dear, and I have to keep it all there so that when I have that anchoring, I can enjoy anything I want without having to run to the store. And
she just chucks it out.
And she's just forever total disregard going through and just what could we possibly do with this and what could we possibly enjoy with that. So everything in my refrigerator is there for a reason. It's because
of course you have a symphony of sounds coming from the kitchen because all of it sings to you. Mine is baked goods, and Dave made a huge platter of delicious cinnamon rolls, and they cannot be in my house without me desiring them constantly. Baked goods is my problem. We have, are you a big green olives guy, Henry?
No.
No,
they're all that. There's a whole lot of charcuterie board items that. Well, I'll eat them when presented there. I made there. It was Mother's Day, and so we had to have an hors d'oeuvre. And so Mom wasn't making this stuff. So
it's Mother's Day.
I got to make the charcuterie board, and we didn't have a lot of time. And so I went I'm pulling out, everybody loves sardines. And some of the olives and the pepperoncinis that are still swirling around back in there, and the hot eggs, pickles. Yeah, those are great. I've come up with my own, and some cheeses, my own charcuterie board. And so I got my 5-year-old niece. I said, I'll give you $5 if you eat this. And it was a sardine, one of these Italian from a Corsican sardine.
Oh, in olive oil, no doubt.
Yeah, it was floating around in preservatives. And so she ate it. And then she just grabbed like a whole big fillet, popped it in her mouth, ate it. And she said, "Oh, that was good."
Hey,
wow.
$5. Here you go, slam. Luckily, I had it. I didn't have to send her a Venmo or an AI $5
or some Bitcoin or something.
So that's floating around there.
I like that. Speaking of delicious Italian food, we have our first eye candy. It is the movie on Netflix called Nonnas. Vince Vaughn stars in it. He produced it. It is nothing but Italian food talk for a good solid 90 minutes. You'll love it if you like pasta and you liked baked sheep head.
Saw the show. Actually,
And how did you
I
like it,
watched
Henry?
it.
How'd you like it?
Well, it had I love the premise. I love the idea. I'd love to go to the real. It's based on a real
Yeah.
a real restaurant. So I would say check it out and see what you think. It has a bunch of those. It had who was it? The gal from she was in Goodfellas, and then was the psychiatrist on The Sopranos, or Bracco, whatever, Elaine, or whatever her name is.
Bracco, that's right.
She was on there, and a few others.
Susan Sarandon
from my favorite Susan Sarandon movie is Checkered Flag or Crash. Have you seen that? She's a reporter covering some off-road racers through Mexico. Pretty sweet film.
Nice. So, Dave, what is your Roger Ebert rating of Noonies?
It was good. It was, there was a lot of real authentic terminology and atmosphere and preparation. Give it a 7 for sure. Good solid 7.
I learned something from that movie that I had never heard because I've never been around Italian people. Is that the sauce during the entire show they called it Noonies gravy, and it just conjured up someone pooping on the lawn. So that, for me, if it was a 10 for the movie, that phrase constantly being talked about put it down to a 7, because I never thought of a red sauce with that phrase. It's like, I don't know, it's like getting a birthday cake, but the cake is now called a turd. Here's your birthday turd. I don't know why gravy in that in that context was so disgusting, but it's because I'm a little odd.
What does the word salsa mean in Spanish?
That's too difficult a thing. Is that a Spanish word?
It means gravy.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So it doesn't bother you a bit?
No.
Hey, he eats green chili gravy and red chili gravy. Yo, chili Rocco, chili Verde. He's from the land of gravies, man.
I actually am like really getting snobbish about a lot of that stuff. People make these new
really
fangled salsas, and they all put the floured skull on it, whatever they call that. And then it's like you taste this salsa and it's like
peaches in it, and mango and pineapple.
Pineapple chutney salsa.
I go straight to the the El Rancho, the Mexican store, El Mesquite in Albuquerque, and they have the salsa molcajete, which you're supposed to put in your molcajete with the chorizo and the cheese and all that. And that's like the best stuff. I like it hot and green and garlicky and just,
Sometimes a little bit of cocoa in there to really give it some rich flavor.
Nice.
Yeah.
We are becoming more snobbish with our food. Dave has taught me through the years. You may as well have delicious food. If you're going to eat it, you may as well be delicious. So I think, Henry, I am also becoming a food snob.
It's good.
Can't do anything about it.
It's good. You know what?
So
snobs are merely those who appreciate what is good.
Who told you that?
This crazy gal in the Healy Club in Albuquerque. I'd have to credit her that. She was a nut.
Profound.
She was very, very kind of but an enjoyable nut. Some people didn't like her, but I think once you kind of got into her soul, you go, oh yeah.
You need a little bit of crazy to be enjoyable. That's for sure.
So now I based myself in my snobbery.
You,
Bask unlimitedly in snobbery.
Even to the point of where in the Nonnas movie, all those grandmas they had in there, their performances were a bit stiff. Just gotta say.
you little arrogant piece of crap.
There you go.
I'm so proud of you, Henry.
Yeah, I wasn't buying in. The character development was a little, they were trying, but,
Well, they were trying to show the old school rigid to do is to break, break is to now bend. Yeah.
It didn't work for the Heine man. So
Can't we all just get along?
I mean, I watched the whole show. I liked it. I wanted to go out and get some food after that, but I do that also after, an episode of Everyone Loves Raymond.
Speaking of Everyone Loves Raymond, when the dad throws out the grandma's can of bacon fat, that is exactly what Aunt Linda is doing to your fridge and stealing all of your onions.
And my bacon fat that sits on the counter so I can have it for that touch of just that hint of smoke and flavor. And yes, I have to hide my bacon fat from her because she doesn't like bacon fat sitting around for sure.
I am surprised.
What is the oldest thing you've ever eaten?
Oh, I had one of those billion-year-old eggs that
Where do you get those?
that was probably also the worst thing I've ever eaten in my life. Every now and then you find some eccentric little hole-in-the-wall Asian market that has these pickled eggs that have been buried in the ground for years and years and years. And let me tell you, I suffered from that for days. It did not agree with me. But I think they boasted that they were 100-year-old eggs, and
100 years old.
100-year-old egg.
Dave, is it just nothing but pickled, it's just vinegar? Is that what it?
Well, that's also protein that's just gone putrefied, man. But because of the acid, of course, it's not going to hurt you, they say. I disagree. It hurt going down. It hurt coming out. They put the little piece of hot pepper in there and they bury it in the ground for 100 years, man. It was kind of like Kim. Oh, yeah. And I guess the next oldest thing was kimchi, that somebody would prided themselves that they found a jar that their grandma had made. They wanted to share this exotic kimchi that had been second generation now. Same. Yeah, you might as well just go, eat compost out of the garden corner, where you're throwing all your decaying plant life.
So Henry, how about you? What's your oldest item?
Well, in my fridge, the oldest thing I've had was some like 1880s Madeira, which was okay. A little bit of wine. That was all right.
Oh, man. You didn't refrigerate it, though, did you? Oh, my goodness.
Well, it's fortified. It's got some sugar in there. It's gonna be
a little brandy.
It'll probably be good in another 1,000 years.
Yeah, it will.
Oh, the booze infused stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a cow of a different color.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Otherwise, I really have to, carbon date some of the stuff that was in the fridge. That I'll pull it out, and I have no fear of anything that's been in there. It actually has to have some growth on it before I'll really give it the heave ho.
You just scrape it off. Scrape off the gray, the blue.
It tastes like fresh lettuce.
Fresh growth. So I'm going to shout out, I don't know how, in some psychic way, we were thinking about this weekend, and independently, both our families thought of delicious pasta sauce with vodka. And so I went out and got the coolest named vodka I could find And I was very intrigued because my favorite named vodka is called Effin' Vodka from Scandinavia. I thought that's the best. I think everything should be that. I want to drive an effin' RV. I want to drive an effin' Jeep. Everything should be effin'. Oh, I've got to go get my effin' shirt fixed. And I can just say, yeah, it's from Scandinavia. It's effin'. But shout out to the vodka. I chose it because it was aptly named. Well, it is graduation time and prom time. Any horrible memories from graduation or prom or school that we can bring up for our last thought?
It was only delightful to graduate.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
adios.
Good memory.
I can't believe I'm so happy I'm never going to have to drive around this parking lot looking for a spot that matches my forged sticker. How about you?
We'll have to go to Dave. I have nothing but good memories of school because I never went and never did any studying. So, Dave, any good memories? I am the idiot in this group, as you all know.
Well, much to the embarrassment of my date on graduation, Steve Felice and I, a good friend, decided that we were going to wear our gangster suits. Well, good old Uncle Eddie, who was married to my Aunt May, had this zoot suit, pinstripe, and it was the boldest, ugliest pinstripe suit in the world with huge lapels. And so, fortunately, I was just about his size, and it took almost no tailoring. So I wore that with a pair of spats that I found down at DI, and I wore
Underneath
spats.
100-year-old egg.
Yeah. So I'm wearing spats with a pinstripe suit and had a walking stick with a crystal doorknob on it and a fedora and white gloves. And when I went to pick up my poor date for the prom,
She's so excited.
it was like, you've got to be kidding me.
You
But
are a
that was,
lunatic.
yeah. But it was fun, and Steve had his little pinstripe suit on and his spats, and he had to wear the fake white gaiters over his shoes, so they looked like spats. But yeah, needless to say, it created no small stir when we showed up.
As it should.
And of course, walking into the Balsam Embers for our dinner at a very nice restaurant.
The Balsam Embers. Wow.
I worked there. The neat thing about it is I worked there. So, it was like, this is what he looks like on his day off. No wonder no wonder we have so much problems with him in the kitchen.
Pressing the ladies.
Actually, it was my pride and joy, but probably her dismay.
Yes, definitely. Every date I ever picked up wondered about their human choices in their life. All right, everybody, enjoy graduation and prom and wedding season. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Great to meet your younger brother, Johnny.
Thanks for listening to Checking In with Hein and Johnny. You can follow all things Hein and Johnny by subscribing to Checking In with Hein and Johnny anywhere you listen to podcasts. Checking In with Heine and Johnny is sponsored by Conveyors and Equipment. They supply, design, and service all types of conveyors, belting, and material handling equipment since 1972. With 3 locations to serve you, Salt Lake City, Albuquerque, and El Paso. Find them on the web at conveyequip.com. That's ConveyeEquuip.com.